Right, I said a little moment ago that I had a bit of a personal announcement because this week happens to be something I discovered relatively recently, the 15th anniversary of me doing the LBC Legal Hour. So I wasn't expecting that. That's just come from the gallery. I've been doing this job for 15 years now, which is quite amazing. I don't think I've got any older, but we've gone back into the archives, and the production team here have found my first ever LBC Legal Hour show. And they've dug out the very first caller, which I haven't heard. Let me emphasise that. I have no idea what's coming. I have no idea whether the advice I gave was right, wrong, nonsense, but they're going to play it now. Just before we finish, I do, if you don't mind me being obscenely self-indulgent for just a moment, want to thank a few people, given I've been doing this for 15 years now. I want to thank Ashley, James and Tom, who are the managers here and run LBC. I'd like to thank Calum, Adam and Amelia, who are respectively my producer, sound engineer and assistant producer, who are sitting in the gallery hoping I'm not going to say anything embarrassing about them at the moment. Also, before Calum and Adam, Nick and James were my producer and sound engineer for years and years and years, so want to thank them as well. And also, if I can, I'd just like to thank a few people whose names you will know. Nick Ferrari. Nick Ferrari is the man who got me into LBC 15 years ago. I used to be one of those people, one of those lawyers that got phoned up for a 3-minute opinion down the phone, and I got to know Nick through appearing on The Breakfast Show. I got invited in to do the newspaper reviews. That's something that many, many years ago, 20 years ago, he used to have people come into the studio at silly o'clock in the morning and do it. So I got to know Nick through that, and I got to know people at LBC, which was great fun. And even though I pretty well messed up almost every newspaper review I ever did, Nick would have me back, which was really kind of him. Ian Dale, for the first couple of years of the Legal Hour, I actually sat with Ian Dale. It was Ian's show. I was a weekly guest, and Ian was running the Legal Hour. I just answered the questions. In fact, when I was asked to do the Legal Hour on my own as a solo presenter about 5 years ago, Ian rang me up and gave me some very good advice. And he basically said, Daniel, you're a little bit spiky, you're a little bit short, you're a little bit abrupt with callers and rude sometimes. I'm there as a foil to you when I'm doing it, but when you're on your own, you need to be a bit nicer to people who call in and might not be as articulate as you might like. Advice that I've pretty much ignored, really. I think I've got a bit better at being kind to people. And also Clive Bull. I sat with Clive for about 6 years when I was the regular weekly guest on his show doing the Legal Hour. And I learned pretty much everything I know about the radio from Clive. Clive's a really good friend, and I do just want to thank him. But 15 years, it's been great fun. It's been an immense privilege. Roughly 15 years of 50 shows a year times 10 calls a week. I can't even begin to think what that is. What is that? Many people, many callers. We'll leave it at that. Anyway, on that note, thank you everyone for your calls and messages this evening. I'm back next Saturday for the 15th year and first week for 9 o'clock. Just a reminder, the advice offered, that does sound vaguely rude, that noise. A reminder, the advice offered in this hour is for your guidance only. You should always seek your own independent legal opinion. If you missed any of this evening's show, you can listen back on Global Player, the official LBC app. Download it for free from your app store or head to globalplayer.com. Coming up at 1, it's Clive Bull. But first, it's time for Nick Abbott.